Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I want to talk some story in the Division 2. Because quite recently we may have received a substantial piece of evidence pointing towards the game's next villain, and it progresses many of the conversations that we were having closer to the start of the season, so I figured it'd be fun to follow up with that. We're going to be getting into spoiler territory very soon, but if you enjoy videos like these and you want to stay up to date on everything with the Division 2, then consider clicking that subscribe button. We'd love to have you. So, like I said, spoiler warning from here on out. We're going to be talking about the communications and the collectible lore entries that you can earn from the Descent game mode and how those contribute to the overall plot and development that we're seeing in Year 5 Season 2 of the Division 2. So if you're not caught up on any of that, then be warned that there are going to be spoilers from here on out. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about the Descent comms in particular. If you didn't know, you earn one of these per week when you run the mode. Now, I do make seasonal recaps of these for people who don't grind them out and just don't play Descent. I did one at the end of Season 1 that a lot of you seem to enjoy, and I plan to continue doing that for this season and beyond, but when there is something important to go over, especially when it's pertinent to the current story like this collectible was, I like to do a standalone video, because this one has to do with Agent Johnson, who mysteriously reappeared this season after being the Division 2's like main cover face. You know, in all the trailers he was there, him and Ward and Caleb Dunn, right? It was the main guy that everybody saw in all the marketing, and then he was gone. Never showed up in the game until the start of this season. He mysteriously pops back onto the comms, and this is amidst the hunt for the recruiter. We don't know who that's going to be. Could be anyone, could it be him, could it be not, we don't know. But after this comm, it definitely adds some fuel to the fire. Take a listen.
Okay, Cal, your boys are outfitted in the latest tech. This is a state-of-the-art simulation using augmented reality to provide your operators a realistic combat experience without having to leave the comfort and safety of the facility, and protecting your investment from prying eyes.
You don't have to sell me on the pitch. I already agreed to the test. Agents, are you ready?
Alpha, ready, sir.
Bravo ready. Good to see you again, Alex.
Vivian,
Okay, let's get this test of yours underway.
your objective is to utilize the mobile Shade server to access intel and utilize your Shade tech to infiltrate the bunker.
Copy that.
This is gonna be fun. Oh, look, you did use my fire turret after all.
Only for the simulation. They are not suitable for the field, Viv.
Good to know it wasn't completely wasted work. And hey, nice to confirm you can actually follow design directions. Nicely done, Alex.
Alright, so that is pretty interesting. Before we jump to any conclusions, alright, I want to say this. This stuff, if you didn't know, all of these Descent comms, at least the vast majority of them, happened long before the outbreak, right? So way before even the events of the Division 1. Calvin McManus back then was still the head of Homeland Security, and from what these comms detail, at least to my understanding, he basically started the Division, right? And at that point, even though the only place that we know Vivian Conley from is when she was a rogue agent in Warlords of New York, back at that time, she was still an agent. So for Johnson to have both known and been involved with her and Calvin, that's not necessarily damning evidence of him being a villain or a bad person. But that said, associating and knowing them also isn't a great look, knowing where the two of them ended up years later. Now, obviously, this is all done 100% intentionally. The lore team knows that we're going to overanalyze the hell out of any of these comms that give relevance towards the current story like that. I mean, case in point, this video. So this comm could be a complete misnomer given the suspicions that we already had about Johnson. Or this could be the first legitimate clue we're getting towards us uncovering Johnson's darker motives. Right up until now, people's main suspicions have just been how he kind of magically reappeared. And that's not necessarily anything concrete. Like I said, it's just suspicions that we've all had. Now, I will say, it is very odd that he does reappear out of nowhere. Even in the cutscene when he does, Manny says, "Oh, I thought you were dead." And so for him to jump on, immediately have a lead for us to chase down on the recruiter and get super involved with our current plotline, yeah, it's suspicious. And beyond even just the recruiter, they keep saying when we do these seasonal targets that the mobile Shade server that we're utilizing at the castle keeps having problems. And while Wally keeps trying to follow up with it, I have a feeling that there's going to be issues with that moving forward. And so it's interesting to note that the mobile Shade server technology itself is also heavily referenced in these Descent comms from previous weeks. but it all takes place in the same time period where they're testing this technology out in the simulation. So for this comm to confirm that Johnson was taking part in testing in the same simulation environment, right, it's very possible that he could know about this technology, and in present day he could be influencing it. But of course, if he knows Calvin well, which we don't know, we just know that at some point he interacted with him back before the outbreak, that could very well be evidence that he has ties to the Hunters, or he could even be the recruiter himself. The bottom line is this specific comm does not confirm his intentions one way or the other, but it does give pretty crucial evidence towards this ongoing mystery, and I think that if they want to set Johnson up as a villain, this would be a pretty solid first step to do so. So, because of the significance of it all, I wanted to share this and get everybody's opinions on it. You've heard my thoughts, and now I want to hear yours. Anything you're thinking about this latest entry into the Division 2's lore, whatever conspiracies you think this might spin up, leave it down below. I'd love to read it. But that's going to do it for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Ow.